over 60. 3. Dangerous frozen foods you should never touch. And 4. You must eat daily. For many seniors, the freezer feels like a trusted friend, a place where dinner waits patiently, wrapped and ready. In fact, a 2019 survey by Shuvrosen found that 94% of older adults choose ready-made frozen meals for their convenience, and 73% believe they're completely safe. But science tells another story. In 2025, Liu and colleagues discovered that eating certain frozen processed foods just twice a week could push up inflammation markers like C-reactive protein by 18% and raise stroke risk by nearly 30% in people over 60. A 2022 review by Shindu's team explained why, when food freezes and thaws, sharp ice crystals can tear muscle fibers, while oxidation and protein breakdown quietly strip away nutrients, leaving your body with more oxidative stress to fight. But today, we're putting that science on your plate, so you'll know exactly which frozen foods can slowly wear down your heart, joints, and brain, and which can actually help protect them. All facts are based on peer-reviewed research, with full references provided in the description. Before we dive in, hit like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you tips to stay healthier, longer. And while you're here, tell us in the comments, which frozen food do you think is the biggest health risk? First, we'll count down the 3 most dangerous frozen foods you should never touch after 60. Now, let's start with number 3. Heavily processed frozen meals, the frozen convenience that steals more than it gives. You pull open the freezer door, and there they are. Rows of perfect boxes, promising creamy pastas, sizzling stir-fries, or meatloaf, just like homemade. But behind the glossy photo on the box is a very different story. They're built in factories, where fresh ingredients are broken down, stripped of their natural structure, and rebuilt from refined starches, reconstituted proteins, hydrogenated oils, flavor enhancers, and stabilizers. In that transformation, the natural food matrix, the physical and chemical framework that slows digestion and keeps nutrients working together, is destroyed. Without it, carbs hit your bloodstream like a burst dam, spiking blood sugar and insulin far faster than your body was built to handle. Hidden inside those trays are other quiet intruders. Emulsifiers like carboxymethylcellulose and polysorbate 80, the invisible binders in sauces and dressings, can wear down your gut's protective mucus layer and throw your microbiome off balance. Over time, that disturbance can spark chronic, low-grade inflammation, the slow-burning fuse linked to obesity, insulin resistance, and inflammatory bowel disease. Salt is another burden. In a single frozen meal, you can swallow more than half of your day's limit, forcing your blood vessels to tighten under constant pressure. And the refined oils that make the texture smooth and shelf-stable, many are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, which, when not balanced with omega-3, tip your body toward inflammation. Science has measured the cost. A 2021 BMJ study showed that for every 10% more of your calories coming from ultra-processed foods, your risk of dying from any cause climbed by 15%, with the sharpest danger pointing toward heart disease. Another 2021 review in Reviews in Endocrine and Metabolic Disorders found that high ultra-processed food intake is also tied to depression, likely fueled by inflammation, oxidative stress, and the gut-brain connection fraying over time. One tray won't undo your health, but eat them regularly, and you're feeding your body a slow drip of high sodium, low fiber, and additives that erode balance meal by meal. The warmth and aroma when you peel back that steaming plastic film may feel like comfort, but for your heart, your gut, and your mind, it's a comfort that comes at a cost. Number 2. Pre-packaged meats, the chilled illusion of safety. They wait behind clear plastic like trophies. Neat, glossy slices, stacked with machine-perfect precision, promising convenience and safety. But what the label won't tell you is that Listeria monocytogenes doesn't mind the cold. Listeria monocytogenes is a dangerous type of bacteria that can cause listeriosis, a serious infection, especially for older adults and people with weaker immune systems. In fact, it likes it. While most bacteria slow down or die in the fridge, Listeria switches on special cold shock proteins to keep its systems running and makes tiny changes to its cell walls so they stay flexible even near freezing. Processed meats, with their salty and low acid environment, are the perfect hideout. For someone with a weaker immune system, it takes only a few hundred cells to start an infection. And because these meats are often eaten straight from the fridge, there's no second round of cooking to kill the bacteria. The real trouble starts after the meat has been cooked in the factory. The heat does wipe out Listeria at first, but then come the steps that open the door again: slicing, packaging, and transport. Once the meat is sealed in vacuum packaging, the bacteria are safe from harm. A long shelf life, often weeks or months, gives them plenty of time to multiply, especially if the cold chain, the unbroken line of refrigeration, slips, even for a short while. Just a brief rise in temperature can create tiny droplets of water inside the package, and that thin layer of moisture acts like a little oasis, helping the bacteria grow faster as soon as the conditions are right. A 2025 risk assessment in China found bulk cooked meats carried a 1.98% Listeria contamination rate, compared to 0.61% in prepackaged meats. But even at that lower rate, the consequences can be devastating. Simulations showed pregnant women were 94 times more likely to get sick from a contaminated serving than healthy adults under 65, and 6 times more likely than healthy seniors. In the U.S., Listeria strikes about 1,600 people annually, killing 260. Across the EU, 2,770 cases were reported in 2022, most deaths among older adults. In China, between 2008 and 2017, 759 invasive cases were recorded, with a fatality rate of 18%, rising to 73% for newborns. For Listeria, the fridge isn't a barrier. It's a slow, quiet incubator. Number 1. Frozen pizza, the comfort food with a hidden cost. A frozen pizza feels like an easy win. Quick, comforting, and delicious. But beneath the gooey cheese and crispy crust lurks a quiet mix of salt, fats, and additives that can slowly chip away at your heart and health. With every bite, the danger starts with its HFSS profile. High in fat, sugar, and salt, the crust, often made from refined white flour, delivers a rapid flood of glucose into your bloodstream, spiking insulin and triggering a hormonal ripple. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, stays elevated. Leptin, the satiety hormone, can become less effective, and you're left wanting more even after you've eaten enough. Over time, this hormonal disruption encourages overeating and weight gain, especially around the abdomen. Metabolically active fat and fuels inflammation. Layered on top are processed meats like pepperoni and sausage, rich in nitrites and nitrates. Under the high baking temperatures of your oven, these can form nitrosamines, compounds linked to an increased risk of gastrointestinal cancers. The cheese and meat toppings are also high in saturated fats, which stiffen cell membranes, reduce arterial elasticity, and raise LDL cholesterol. In older adults, this combination quietly accelerates the atherosclerotic process, making strokes and heart attacks more likely. The high-temperature baking process generates advanced glycation end products AGEs, sticky molecules formed when proteins and sugars fuse under heat. AGEs promote oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, damaging blood vessel linings and even crossing into the brain, where they impair neuron function. Research has connected frequent AGE intake with declines in memory and processing speed, a silent erosion that can go unnoticed for years until it's too late. Pizza's salty bite hides another hazard. Excess sodium stiffens blood vessels and disrupts the delicate sodium-potassium balance that keeps heart rhythm steady. In people over 60, whose kidneys are less efficient at excreting sodium, this can quickly lead to sustained high blood pressure. Add to this the hidden hunger effect, dense calories but scarce micronutrients, and your body ends up overfed yet undernourished, short on magnesium, potassium, and antioxidants, It desperately needs to counteract oxidative damage. Scientific evidence reinforces this picture. A 2025 review on HFSS foods found that habitual intake alters appetite regulation, increases visceral fat, and is strongly associated with higher rates of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. The British Nutrition Foundation has warned that processed meats and pizza are key contributors to dietary nitrite and saturated fat intake in the elderly, compounding vascular risk. And frozen pizza's combination of refined carbs and high-fat toppings has been shown to induce greater post-meal glucose spikes and oxidative stress compared to fresh, whole food meals. That's why what feels like a harmless indulgence can, over time, chip away at your health in ways you can't taste. The warmth, the aroma, the easy comfort, it's all real. But so is the quiet cost, paid in arteries, neurone, and years of vitality you might otherwise have kept. After walking through the frozen aisle's hidden pitfalls, it's time to turn the tide. From here, we'll count down the 4 frozen foods that can actually nourish your body, protect your health, and make your freezer a true ally. After 60. Number 4. Frozen bone broth. The warm blanket for aching joints. Frozen bone broth may look like nothing more than a pale block tucked away in the freezer, but for those over 60, it can be one of the most complete repair kits your body will ever receive. The secret lies in how it's made. When animal bones, cartilage, and connective tissues are simmered for hours, collagen, the tough, rope-like protein that gives structure to your joints and skin, slowly breaks down into gelatin. Picture gelatin as a soft fishing net that traps moisture and minerals, keeping tissues flexible and hydrated. Within this broth, chondroitin sulfate and glucosamine, 2 natural building blocks of cartilage, work like grease on a squeaky hinge, reducing friction so knees bend and shoulders turn without grinding pain. Alongside them are calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus to strengthen bone scaffolding, plus zinc and copper to help your body build new collagen, not just maintain what's left. Freezing is more than storage. It's preservation. In 2022, Shindu and colleagues reviewed dozens of studies showing that freezing locks collagen's delicate structure, preventing oxidation that would otherwise weaken proteins. A 2025 analysis by Liu's team revealed that chondroitin and glucosamine from slow-simmered broths could slow cartilage breakdown, ease arthritis discomfort, and improve flexibility by up to 20% in older adults. Another study in the same review showed gelatin consumption lowered inflammatory markers such as IL-6 and TNF-alpha, helping calm the chronic inflammation that makes joints stiff in the morning. In 2019, researchers discovered that collagen peptides enhance skin elasticity and hydration in older women after just 8 weeks. A welcome side effect for anyone who values a healthier appearance in the mirror. If you've noticed your knees aching after grocery shopping, your shoulders feeling tight after a night's sleep, or your stomach bloating after eating heavy meals, frozen bone broth can help. Glycine, one of its key amino acids, acts like a gentle break for your nervous system, encouraging deeper sleep and clearer thinking. Glutamine repairs and protects the lining of your intestines, easing digestive discomfort. Over time, these small daily servings become quiet but reliable allies in your overall well-being. To use it safely and effectively, choose bone broth made from high-quality, grass-fed beef bones, pig bones, or organic poultry, ideally simmered for at least 12 hours to extract maximum nutrients. Store it in the freezer at 18 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or lower to prevent nutrient loss. When ready to enjoy, thaw it overnight in the fridge or warm it gently on the stove. Never boil hard, as high heat can break down delicate proteins. Sip it plain for a comforting drink, or use it as a base for soups, stews, and sauces. For steady benefits, aim for 1 cup per day, and during colder months, consider 2 smaller servings to keep your joints nourished throughout the day. Number 3. Frozen berries, the freezer's burst of youthful energy. In the stillness of the freezer, frozen berries wait, each one a small burst of summer, holding within it a store of natural compounds ready to mend cells, steady the heart, and gently slow the passage of time. Their deep reds, purples, and blues come from anthocyanins, plant pigments that act like rust-proof armor for your cells. Imagine metal protected by a clear coat. Anthocyanins do the same for your blood vessels, eyes, and brain cells, shielding them from the slow corrosion caused by oxygen and inflammation. Alongside them are polyphenols, powerful plant chemicals that calm down overactive immune responses, reducing the joint stiffness and swelling many feel after 6 days. Vitamin C is the body's repair kit. It stitches collagen into your skin, blood vessels, and even the clear lens of your eye, keeping them strong and flexible. Potassium relaxes tight vessel walls, lowering pressure inside them, while magnesium quietly directs muscle contractions, preventing those stubborn nighttime calf cramps. And the fiber in berries feeds your gut's friendly bacteria, which in turn help reduce inflammation throughout the body. From aching knees to a foggy mind, freezing doesn't rob berries of this power. It locks it in. The key is how freezing changes water inside the fruit. When done quickly, it forms tiny ice crystals that leave cell walls intact, like packing fragile glassware in bubble wrap. This is why a 2021 study in processes found that rapid freezing preserved up to 90% of vitamin C and polyphenols. In 2023, Salma Barkawi and colleagues reviewed global research and confirmed that anthocyanins and antioxidants remained stable for months in properly stored frozen berries, keeping their heart and brain protective effects intact. And in 2022, scientists at Tufts University analyzed 23 randomized controlled trials and found that berry consumption lowered blood pressure, improved cholesterol, enhanced artery flexibility, and even sharpened memory and attention in older adults. For best results, choose whole, unsweetened, frozen berries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, or strawberries, with no added sugar or syrup. Keep them sealed at 18 degrees Celsius, 0 degree Fahrenheit, or colder. This slows the breakdown of vitamin C and anthocyanins. Thaw gently in the fridge. Avoid leaving them out at room temperature for long periods, as warm air speeds nutrient loss. Pair them with plain yogurt or kefir. The healthy fats help your body absorb more anthocyanins. And aim for 1/2 to 1 cup daily. These steps aren't guesswork. They're based on the same preservation and absorption principles tested in the studies above. Number 2. Frozen legumes. The freezer's green engines for steady energy and strong hearts. Frozen legumes, peas, lentils, chickpeas, edamame, are like tiny green engines, primed to release slow, steady fuel for your body. The power of legumes starts with their unusually high protein content, 20 to 35% of their dry weight, which supplies the amino acids your body uses to repair and maintain muscle. That's critical after 60, when age-related muscle loss can lead to weakness and instability. Surrounding that protein is a unique fiber profile. Soluble fiber swells with water to slow the release of sugars into your bloodstream, keeping energy levels stable and protecting the pancreas. Insoluble fiber feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which then produce short-chain fatty acids, anti-inflammatory compounds that travel throughout the body, easing chronic inflammation that can affect the heart, joints, and brain. Legumes also contain natural enzyme inhibitors that quietly adjust how your body processes food. Alpha amylase and alpha glucosidase inhibitors slow the breakdown of starch into glucose, helping prevent sudden spikes in blood sugar. Pancreatic lipase inhibitors reduce the breakdown of dietary fats, which can help with weight management. And hidden within legume proteins are bioactive peptides that inhibit angiotensin-converting enzyme ACE, encouraging blood vessels to relax and reducing blood pressure strain. Only after you understand this chemistry does the science behind it truly resonate. In 2023, Paula Gurdin and Anna Jakubczyk reviewed decades of data and confirmed that these compounds support diabetes prevention, cardiovascular health, and healthy weight control. And in 2025, Nascimento and colleagues found that legumes enrich soil with nitrogen and organic matter, fostering diverse microbes. A reminder that legumes are life-giving from the ground up, and that vitality carries through to your plate. Freezing safeguards this nutritional arsenal at -18 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Proteins, fibers, and bioactive compounds remain stable for months, so the peas you steam in January can deliver the same heart and gut-supporting effects as they would in peak harvest. Choose plain, unsalted frozen legumes with no added sauces or syrups. Keep them sealed to prevent freezer burn, and cook them straight from frozen by steaming or boiling briefly to preserve texture and nutrients. Aim for 1/2 to 1 cup daily, added to soups, salads, or blended into dips to keep your steps strong, your heart steady, and your energy running clean. Number 1. Frozen salmon, the ocean's freshness. Locked in time, beneath the icy surface of the North Atlantic, salmon muscle fibers are woven like fine silk, each strand holding omega-3 fats, vibrant pigment, and the subtle sweetness of the sea. But from the moment a salmon leaves the water, that perfection begins to unravel. Enzymes awaken. Fats, rich in EPA and DHA, start oxidizing, and delicate proteins slowly lose their grip on moisture. Freezing, done right, halts this clock almost instantly. When salmon is flash frozen at -40 degrees Celsius within hours of harvest, water inside its cells forms micro-sized ice crystals. These crystals are small enough to leave muscle fibers intact. So, when thawed or cooked directly from frozen, the fillet retains its firm texture and bright coral hue. By contrast, slow freezing allows large crystals to form, puncturing cell walls and causing drip loss. That pale liquid you see pooling on a plate, carrying away water-soluble nutrients and flavor compounds. Flash freezing also locks in salmon's bioactive compounds at their peak. The pigment astaxanthin, responsible for salmon's deep orange-pink color, is a potent antioxidant that shields cell membranes from oxidative stress. EPA and DHA, the marine omega-3 second that lower triglycerides, reduce arterial inflammation, and support brain cell membrane fluidity, remain chemically stable when oxidation is arrested early. Even vitamin D, prone to light and heat degradation, is preserved in this deep cold pause. Rethinking the kitchen ritual can further protect these qualities. Cooking directly from frozen minimizes the thawing phase, during which lipid oxidation accelerates, microbial activity resumes, and muscle fibers begin to release bound water. Listeria et al. In 2024 demonstrated that frozen thawed salmon held under chilled storage suffered greater texture softening and higher peroxide values, a measure of fat oxidation, compared to samples cooked from frozen. By keeping the salmon below zero until heat meets flesh, we bypass that vulnerable window entirely. Choose vacuum-sealed, flash-frozen fillets from sustainably managed fisheries or certified aquaculture. Keep them at -18 degrees Celsius, 0 degree Fahrenheit or below, and cook straight from frozen, whether roasting with herbs, baking in papillote, or poaching gently in broth. The texture stays succulent, the color glows, and every bite delivers the omega-3 second, antioxidants, and vitamin D your body craves. Frozen salmon isn't just a convenience. It's the truest expression of fresh for anyone far from the dock. A way to taste the sea as if it had only just receded from your feet. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Every mindful choice you make today shapes the quality of your tomorrows. It's never too late to take small steps toward a stronger, more vibrant future. May you continue to nourish your body, protect your well-being, and find joy in the little daily rituals that keep you thriving. Here's to many more years of energy, clarity, and resilience. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a science-backed tip to help you stay healthier for longer. And share this with someone you care about, because good health is a gift worth passing on. Thank you for watching.